What is up? What is up? What's up, DC Defender fans? It's your boy Webb back here on the United Football Media. 2 episodes this week, 2 episodes on this Monday. You know, the schedule's coming out. We had to talk about it. Alex unfortunately couldn't make it. He's feeling a little bit underneath the weather. Make sure you go watch the Bellamy interview as well. You want some insight on how the defenders have handled the offseason? How are they going to recover from the championship loss? How are they going to take over this new league? Bellamy is a great interview. There's a lot of him talking, not Webb. I asked a little bit questions, and DB can flow with the best of them. So make sure you tune in to that on the United Football Media YouTube channel. But today we're going schedule. It's February 5th. The schedule's out. It's been teased for a while. The schedule release. Here we go. You know, I had to have a picture of the beer snakes in there, right? But this is going to be a quicker episode, but we'll go through it, and me and Alex will talk about it more when he feels a little bit better. Week 1 at San Antonio. We go back to the scene of where the Defenders lost the championship last year to Arlington. Playing San Antonio last year in the Week 10 battle. Escaped San Antonio with a win. Week 10. Go back to there. It's a great. It's not your father's San Antonio Brahmas, right? It's a completely different team. Wade Phillip comes over from Houston, brings a lot of his Roughnecks, a ton of his Roughnecks. Really don't know what the roster is going to look like right now because I think they're at somewhere in the 90s. Go watch Brahma Bullpen on United Football Media, and he will keep you locked in with those Brahmas. I know he goes to every home game. He is tied in. He gritos, everything. Great fan base. Week 1, though, in San Antonio. That goes to week 2, the home game versus the Roughnecks, the former Gamblers from the USFL. XFL fans, if you didn't follow the USFL, they've got a pretty decent team over there. Curtis Johnson leads the team, former coach for the Saints and Tulane. They're led by Mark Thompson. They've got a great defense, a bunch of like Reuben Foster, Olive Sagapulo, Toby Johnson, who's 2-time All USFL. This is a decent team. Very high ceiling for this team. They were 5-5 last year without any quarterback play. They've made changes at the quarterback, so that is their biggest question mark. But that's the home opener for you Beer Snakes, the Houston Roughnecks, formerly known as the Gamblers. Week 3, it's Arlington. It's at Arlington. It's a revenge game from the championship. Everything that the offseason has, all the roster moves that the Defenders, Von Hutchins and Marlowe and staff have done this offseason is to fix what happened in the championship game. It's simple as that. They were 9-1, made it to the championship game. Arlington got a little hot towards the end of the season, was able to hold off the Defenders. But if you talk to the players and some of the coaches around there, that's what the focus has been, to get back to the top and to complete the mission, which was almost completed last year in season 1. But week 3 at Arlington will definitely have the eyeballs paying attention to on the TV. Week 4 at Birmingham Stallions. So you guys know that I was USFL guy for a while, covered the Maulers. Stallions beat my Maulers in the championship. The Stallions are the 2-time champs. The Stallions are obviously in the state of Alabama, where people in Alabama think they run football. They're the 2-time champs. They're a great program. Seeing them in person, you could tell that they were doing some things a little bit different than a lot of the USFL teams. They do have to play 5 road games this year for the first time ever in their 3 years of existence of this go round with spring football. The first year, obviously, if you weren't following it because you were following only XFL, they had 10 home games. Yes, they did win the playoff games, but they had 10 home games. And then last year, they were the hub team, and they shared it with New Orleans. So they got their 5 home games and then their road game against New Orleans. was in Birmingham. So this year is the first year where they got 5-5. Uh, DC, obviously, the Defenders are going into the Ponyland, where you'll see people with shark dog tattoos and wearing rubber horse masks. So it should be an interesting matchup. Little note there. So the it's kind of weird how the schedule breaks down. The two teams that kind of switched identities. Wade Phillips left the Roughnecks, went over to the Brahmas. They changed the identity, and then Houston Gamblers changed their identity to the Roughnecks. And then it's the two champs right in a row. Um, Interesting schedule for the Defenders going into the middle of the season, week 5. Week 5 is at home against St. Louis. If you remember, this was a battle. This is a rivalry. This is a very underrated rivalry because it hasn't happened in the playoffs. But some would consider the St. Louis and the DC rivalry one of the best in spring football over the last couple of years. You had Birmingham and New Orleans, obviously, but this was the XFL version. Both games were considerably close, and both teams were pretty solid. Obviously, DC went undefeated 2-0 and basically knocked out St. Louis by themselves, right? If they lose to St. Louis one of those weeks, St. Louis is probably in and they play in the uh, conference championship or the divisional championship last year. So this game is chippy. You see a little bit more pushing, a little bit more shoving. Both teams are professional outfits. Anthony Beck is a great coach. Uh, this is a game that out of the first 5 weeks, this is probably the game I'm most excited about for the DC Defenders because first of all, it's home and it's the first big home game. I'm with no slight to Houston at all, but this game means something to the Defenders right off the bat. So the other three going into this week are road games. So this is the first real big home game out if you don't consider the opener carrying extra weight. Then you go week 6, San Antonio, second time in 6 weeks that they'll play Wade Phillips Brahmas. I look forward to this one because this is the middle of a 3-game homestand. So San Antonio, you got to take care of business. This is a 3-7 team with a brand new identity. Obviously, they're bringing in the new quarterbacks with Dormady and Garbers, and Cone is still there, but they bring back that Wade Phillips mentality. These aren't your Heinz Ward Brahmas. So by week 6, you'll know if DC is one of the top 2 teams because if they go 2-0 against San Antonio, obviously that's going to carry a lot of weight. Even if you lose the other 4 games, you have the tiebreaker, excuse me, through against one team in your conference. Remember, the schedule is broken down like this, right? You play all the USFL teams. There's 4 of them: Birmingham, Michigan, Memphis, and Houston. The Roughnecks. They are a USFL team because they're the former Gamblers. So you're going to play 2 of them on the road and 2 of them at home, right? And then in the XFL division, which is San Antonio, St. Louis, and Arlington, you play each of those teams a road and a away. So you're done with San Antonio by May 5th. The season starts on March 31st. Basically, in a month, you're done with San Antonio, going down to the final stretch. Week 7, like I said in 2 seconds ago, you got 3-game homestand right in the middle of the season. This is the 3rd game. Michigan Panthers, a vastly improved, different offense. They hired a brand new offense coordinator, but their defense has always been pretty nasty. If you want to consider USFL, they took a lot of they took great players from the teams that were contracted that fit their holes. Really, good defensive line. Offensive line is always a question mark, but the offense is led by EJ Perry as of right now. He keeps going back to the NFL and then back to the Panthers, and a brand new coordinator who was the coordinator for the Stars and was in the CFL. So this is a team that by week 7, it's good to play them week 7 because you're going to have a lot of tape on them by then, and see if they change any schemes or anything. So this is a good team to face later on in the season rather than the beginning of the season. Week 8 at St. Louis, you go to the Dome. This will be an intense game. We know this. Uh, Last year, Week 5 is 28-20. This I talked about it with the Week 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, right? At 5, you're playing St. Louis. At 8, you're done with St. Louis. That's one thing about spring football leagues. You see your division rivals a lot quicker. Like I know from the NFL, the Commanders might play the Cowboys in Week 1, but in Week 16 they're playing the Cowboys again. They're a completely different team. With a 10-week season, and by fitting 3 teams in there 6 times in the 10 weeks, it's rapid fire, and you know these teams. Obviously, this is going to decide a playoff battle position more than likely. Probably will decide the XFL conference division, whatever we're calling it right now. They haven't really been clear on that. So this is a big game to go to the Dome late in the season. Uh, Kind of can set the pace for what the final 2 weeks of the season are going to be. Is it going to be a playoff push, or is it going to be kind of a go through the motions kind of thing? The St. Louis game is one of those that you'd circle. Week 9 at Memphis. Memphis is a brand new look. The defense was solid last year. The offense, they bring in John DeFilippo. He brings in a bunch of breakers, which were kind of considered the second or third best team in the USFL for most of the season. Offensively, they were talented. Excuse me. Their first dispersal draft pick was Case Cookus, the quarterback from the Philadelphia Stars. Talented. XFL fans, Defender fans, if you did not watch USFL football, Case Cookus is a baller. He was the best quarterback over the 2 years. People will say Alex Magoo, and Magoo had a magical season. And obviously, he's spending time in the NFL. Case Cookus is a baller and quality quarterback play. And if you get quarterbacks like Case Cookus that could be around for 3, 4 years, uh, you tend to think that the league's in good hands if they got players this talented. So Cookus, fun fact: I don't know how many quarterbacks ever got a dirty hit penalty, but he did in college. Go get it on YouTube. Northern Arizona, Case Cookus, unsportsmanlike hit. Uh, Search that on YouTube and enjoy, especially if you want to see a quarterback get that penalty. And he deserved every single second of it. Then week 10 is Arlington. Yes, I did put that trophy picture up here, and it kills me every single time. We got TJ Barnes. TJ Barnes is defending champ too. He's on the roster now. So I look forward to week 10 being a little different. Hopefully eliminating the Renegades. They went 4-6 last year, remember? So they got hot at the right time, and tip your cap there. But they were the 5th best team in the XFL at best going into the playoffs. You can consider Seattle, St. Louis, DC, and obviously Houston to be the top 4. If that format that is taking place in the UFL was in the XFL last year, Arlington isn't that. But the fact remains, Arlington's the defending champs. Bob Stoops and Luis Perez are the defending champs. They bring in a young quarterback. So week 10 is definitely it's going to be interesting. How fun would it be that that's for the division, right? Revenge, and you eliminate them. Excuse me. But that's the schedule. If I had to choose a game that will kind of determine the season, this is the one I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, every week is a 1-0 mentality. Devin Bellamy says it on my show this week, on the DC Defender show when I talk to him. Every week, it doesn't matter if you're 4-0 or 0-4. You're probably a couple inches away from being the complete opposite, right? So, but this is the game that I look forward to the most. Like if I had to pick one, gun in my head, one, 1 through 10, and you only can go see one game live or one game to define the season. This is it coming from preseason. So both teams kind of have question marks at the quarterback position right now. Is McCarron coming back? Is Tiamo coming back? We're not 100% sure. It sounds like they are, or especially McCarron, but we'll see where this goes. But this is definitely going to be the fun game of the season. But going through all these home opener versus Roughnecks, week one at San Antonio, going back to the Dome after it treated us so poorly last year. It's time for UFL football. I know everyone's talking about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl's a week from uh, it's on Sunday, 6 days from now. Uh, I will say my pick is the Chiefs to win over the 49ers. Could be completely wrong, but I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to take the fighting Taylor Swift's over the Brock Purdy question mark. Um, so there's this schedule. I'm sorry. There's a lot going on. I'm trying to think of the TV schedule and everything. It starts March 31st. It ends on June 2nd. You can catch it all on ABC, ESPN, Fox Sports, Fox Sports One. This is supposed to be a special season, and hopefully, this is the first season of many for the UFL as they try to become high quality football in the spring. But that has been the schedule release. This is episode 4. Thank you for tuning in. And web out because Alex isn't here. Just web. Alex, take care. Web out.